Hello, Jeffrey here again. I just want to show you my Cat 60 project as it sits as of today. As I said previous, I've had it here in the shop close to 20 years, and approximately 10 years ago I started to disassemble it, at which time I found 3 cracked cylinders. If you look at this one, you can see the crack around the inside top of the bore, and 3 of the cylinders were cracked like that. At that time I located 3 replacement cylinders, and they have a 1/4-inch smaller bore, so they can be bored out to match my pistons, so I won't have to do any sleeving. And 3 replacement cylinders have a matching casting number to the one good cylinder I have. So I'm hopeful that the replacement cylinders are better than the ones that cracked. Here you can see the massive size of the connecting rod. I weighed it with the wrist pin, weighs 24 pounds. And as you can see, when you connect the connecting rod to the crank, it has shims that can be removed for fitting the rod to the crank. Now, looking at the engine, it's the crankshaft sits on saddles, and the main bearing caps go on the top. And it has 3 main bearings, front, center, and rear. And rear main bearing cap has to be installed, and then a plate installed to close the hole. As when the crankshaft is removed, it is pulled out through the back of the engine. So you can imagine what it's like trying to juggle that heavy 5-foot-long crankshaft in through the back of the engine. Here are the main bearing caps, and as you can see, they're the same way. They have shims that you have to add or subtract to get the correct bearing clearance. So this is where I'm at with my Cat 60. I want to finish polishing the crank, and then I can start to clean it up to reassemble. I'm going to start with the rear main bearing and get the cover on it. And I have yet to get the cylinders bored, but I've located someone locally who can handle boring the cylinders as they're too large for my boring bar. And I've already obtained the rings I need and the valves, and 1 valve I needed and new valve springs. So I have all the parts I need. So I'll keep you posted as to progress of this project. And thanks again for watching. Okay, here I am removing the rings on the pistons. These, I got about 12 of the rings out in one piece. All the oil rings and some of the compression rings, and the rest of them I just couldn't get them to come loose, so I have to break them out in pieces like this. So I know most people would say just put all new rings in it, but I always am frugal and like to reuse as much stuff as I can. So I actually only bought 8 new compression rings. So each piston will have 2 new compression rings and 2 used and the used oil ring. But the rings look to be in quite good shape, the ones that I saved. And they'll be in a new bore, as the replacement cylinders I got were a smaller bore and they're being bored out to fit these pistons. So cast iron rings in a new bore should be just fine. Now I have to try and break this ring out. First I push it down, and the end of it cracked here. Now we'll work on it here. Try and get one end started. Come on. It's being stubborn. Getting a start is always the hardest part. Come on. Try this way. I think it's going to come now. I'm going to turn it around and go at it like this. Come on. Oh, another chip came off. There it comes. Once we get a start like this, And I take a piece of square key stock and just work my way around. Just to give you an idea. You can see the size of them. And the weight, I weighed a piston. A piston weighs 18 pounds. And I'm going to weigh a connecting rod. So I'll know what kind of reciprocating weight there actually is to this engine. Which is considerable. And here we go. There's a piece left in the other one here. Let's see. One little piece left yet. There, all the rings out of that piston. And now just seeing I have a piston there. Seeing I have a piston here, I just want to show you the type of wrist pin retainers it has. It uses buttons that go in on each side instead of some type of a snap ring. They're an alloy. Well, that's what I used in motorcycles that hold them like this. It's aluminum button on each end of the wrist pin. So there's the rings removed from that piston, and we'll keep showing you more progress. Bye.